I mean, think about it. Ken was a big part of her life. And
you know, he chose not to be with her anymore, to give her that freedom.
When Gypsy and Ryan did a podcast, and you haven't heard it, I heard it, they dogged him out.
Relationship is fresh, fragile, and needs to be happy.
What do you want to have happen with the Ryan-Ken situation?
I would hope Ken sincerely feels that he wants Gypsy to be happy. Closure, just stay quiet, stay away, and give her and Ryan the best chance.
All right, boom. So, is it okay for a parent, I mean, in this situation, it's even a step-parent, to get involved in their stepchild's business? For me personally, hell to the freaking no. I wouldn't be happy if I found out that one of my parents was, willing to get involved in my relationship where they shouldn't be. Especially when it's at the expense of having a communication with an ex of mine. At the end of the day, whether I need the closure or not, if my relationship is ended with my ex, especially given the fact that that person left me, actually, no, it doesn't even matter whether they left me or I left them. It still has nothing to do with them, because the reality is this: if I want to contact them, I will. If I feel the need that I need closure from them, then I will do what I need to do. But if I don't, then I won't. So in my she overstepped the line, and the dad is right. But listen, clearly, there's an agenda behind it. And the agenda, in my opinion, would be the fact that she just isn't a fan of Ryan. But let's get into Ryan, though, in this next upcoming scenes.
Who are you texting?
I'm texting Mia.
I saw that address. What's she want?
For what? There's no address.
Scroll back down. That's why I was like, who are you texting? Has there been any desire from you to reach out?
You can say what's his face's name.
To Ken?
No.
No desire whatsoever?
No, we're good.
What stuff you trying to get there?
I'm just texting my sister, honey.
Ryan is one paranoid dude. I mean, to be honest here, I'm not really a fan of Ryan personally. There's something about him that just gives me very off-key vibes. I mean, listen, look at it this way. The fact that he seeks to find a partner who was in prison. I mean, listen, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. If that's not a concern to the public, then I don't know what is. Because the fact that he was seeking someone like Gypsy, for me, that really tells me that there's something off-key about him. That he thought that maybe this is an opportunity for him to take advantage of somebody, and therefore he can have control of that person's life. But really and truly, the way he's looking over there, evading her privacy, then she's having to justify herself. Why? Because you're paranoid that Ken is back in the picture, or maybe in the picture, or she might be speaking to him behind your back. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I understand it, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy to then be looking at your partner's phone. And to make it worse, you're driving. Your eyes should be on the road. They should not be on the phone. What if they got into an argument whilst he was driving? And this is pretty much the second time, in my opinion, now he's put them both in danger when it comes to being in the car. Obviously, the previous week, not last, but the week before, they were obviously rushing their way to the freaking airport, and he was interrupting the driver. And in this situation here, he's now interrupting himself by looking over and seeing what she's doing because he's that paranoid. Anyway, we continue.
Ken wants to reach out to Gypsy, and they want to communicate. You should have told Ken. You should have told Ken. I can't help you. If something happens with Gypsy and Ken, it's going to be your fault.
Absolutely. Actually, well, it's going to be partially her fault. Obviously, it's going to be her fault because she's the one that's pretty much allowed this to happen, because obviously she decided to have contact with Ken, and therefore to then also let Gypsy know. So, of course, right now she's obviously planting the seed in Gypsy's mind that, hey, Ken is here, Ken is available, he's single. Maybe it's time to have a chat with him and get the closure that you need, or maybe a little bit more. So, yeah, 100%. If something was to happen, which we do that it does happen, 100% she has to take accountability in this role. But at the same time, though, does she give a damn about taking accountability that she's the one that potentially started this whole thing? Absolutely not. Clearly, you know what I mean? But at the same time, though, we know that Gypsy, never really moved on with Ken anyway. But let's get into this conversation between Gypsy and her sister.
Because of Ken?
Yes. So
I knew that was going to happen. I don't know why she did that.
It was just one of those things that we were talking, and it led into it so easily. And if I talked to Ken the other day for like 2 hours. She's like, the reason why he left you is because he felt like he was doing the right thing by you. I got me crying. I'm like, I loved him so much. Like, Christy talked to Ken, and not only does he regret leaving me, but he also is single.
Oh, dear. Should it matter to you, Gypsy, that he's single? Should it matter to you that he regrets leaving you? Okay, the man left you at a time where I'd assume you needed him. But now, you know, you're out and he's seeing your life though it is. Now he wants in. I mean, listen, the question that Gypsy should be asking herself is, what is the difference of Ken being in your life now compared to when he was in life before? Because at the end of the day, she's going to analyze, okay, what situation was she in when she was with him the first time, and why did he leave? Or the timing of his leaving. And then also analyze where she's at now in her life, and him now wanting to reintroduce himself in her life. Because at the end of the day, timing is everything. So for him to drop you when he did, and then for him to want to pick you up where you are right now, analyze that, and I'll let you know whether or not this guy's waste is worth your time or not. But hey, we all know what happens anyway. But yeah, the sister made a very good point there. You know, she was asking a simple question. So are you feeling something? Gypsy couldn't answer the question with her chest. She couldn't even answer with a straight face. But of course, that's something that I can say that I am not surprised by, and I can imagine that none of you folks are surprised by too. But hey, let's get into what happens next now between her and Ryan.
He is not respecting my marriage, and he was like, man, I'll get you back, just hang tight. And if she ever brought him up again, that she'd be in trouble. You know, like, if Gypsy wants to reach out, you let Gypsy reach out. Let's get married. Just accept the fact that Gypsy made the right choice with her life. I wish they would stop trying to protect her, look for reasons for her to leave me.
I mean, listen, I can definitely understand him having this frustration with Chrissy. You know what I mean? For obviously having a whole 2-hour conversation with Ken and then also relaying information towards Gypsy. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like I said it right at the beginning, if Gypsy wanted to have communication with Ken, then she could have done it on her own accord without any interruptions whatsoever. I mean, I don't blame Ryan for now feeling the way he's feeling. Because, of course, he's somewhat feeling, like I would say, backstabbed, blindsided, disrespected, disliked. But hey, let's continue.
To me, because I'm like, well, stop bashing mom for just, and I told him I cried too. And he's like, well, do you want him? Go be with him. If that's what you want, now's the time to tell me. I mean, no.
That wasn't very convincing at all.
No, of course not. No.
My apologies, I spoke a bit too soon. That was the scene that I was actually referring to when her sister actually asks her, so what's this deal with Ken? And obviously, as you can see, that was a reaction. No, no. I mean, listen, for Gypsy to ask Ryan to not be upset with Chrissy, I mean, that's a big ask because Chrissy, she's made damage. She didn't make a small damage. She planted a very big seed. That'd be hard for anybody to want to overlook, to overcome. Wow. And to think that Gypsy came from a life where she had a mother that pretty much controlled her life for, you know, for the most part. To then now have a stepmom who's now trying to also take charge of your life. Damn. The trauma that would be triggered behind that is nuts, to be fair. I don't think Chrissy, and to be fair, Ryan does make a point before about people need to stop trying to protect her. Because at the end of the day, the more people try and protect her is the more they're trying to control her. But there's a difference between people trying to guide you and give you advice compared to people making decisions for you. In this situation, I'll say Chrissy made a decision for her. And that is pretty much a form of control. But at the same time, though, Ryan shouldn't be a hypocrite because, you know, he definitely has moments where he's trying to dictate what she should be doing.
I love Ryan and I love our life together. A part of me wonders that, like, me pushing a wedding and getting married in prison might change the course of my fate.
1000% it did. 1000%.
No, I'm not pregnant. It only happened 2 nights ago.
You can. There's still time. I'm not even joking. My test is on this stuff.
It's like I'm torn. I want to start a family, but then at the same time, I'm like, I also want to give me and Ryan time to know that this marriage is going to work.
My big thing. Y'all are fresh in a sense of living together for the first time. Y'all are learning, and you're like, do I even want to be with this man? For them to not be careful right now, it's kind of scary when she...
Listen, to be fair, last week or the week before, whichever week it was, that they obviously revealed that they want to try for kids. I mean, I was like, okay, then obviously we know that they don't in the end because of course they're no longer together. But the fact that it was even a conversation is nuts. Now, if you ask me personally, Even though he may have, I'm not too sure who actually bought it first, whether it was Gypsy or Ryan, but I know for sure Ryan would benefit a whole lot if Gypsy got pregnant, because of course that means, you know, in his eyes, she's more likely to then stay in his life. Do you see what I'm saying? But let's be real, in this world, there's a lot of people that use kids as a reason to stay with the other person or to trap that person. Do you see what I'm saying? To make that person not leave, whether that be the man getting the woman pregnant, or whether not, or whether that be the woman allowing the man to get pregnant. Do you know what I mean? Because they have their own in what do you call it? They have their own intentions, evil intentions, negative intentions. But hey, we continue.
Brings it up. And
I just don't think that the timing for right now is where it needs to be. I'm ready when I can fully say that I could put myself aside and put a child first.
I gotta say that's probably one of the, or most, or maybe the most adult thing she's ever said, most mature thing that she's ever said. Do you know what I mean? So it's good to see. Obviously the whole child thing was then put to bed way before Ken even actually got inserted into her life again, you know what I mean? But Gypsy was definitely moving reckless by having intimacy with Ryan unprotected. But to be fair, I do wonder though, because she said that it's not the first time that they've had sex unprotected. They've done this before. I think they said I did it a month prior and nothing came of it. So, but I do wonder though, is Gypsy fertile? I mean, obviously, you know, I don't know too much about her medical records per se, but and it doesn't seem as if she knows about it, but the girl went through a lot of things, you see what I'm saying? And a woman's body can react in so many different ways after being through, you know, a great deal amount of trauma, do you see what I'm saying? And I don't know if these are things that can maybe affect the woman's body in terms of giving birth, but, you know, when it comes to women, TMI, to trigger one to what I'm going to say next, but I do understand that when a woman is pregnant sometimes, if she's going through under a significant amount of stress, she can then be prone to potentially also losing the child due to stress as well. So I do wonder if the trauma that she has suffered mentally, you know, has really affected her mental, her physical health as well. Again, not expert. I'm just wondering if you do know about that. Please do let me know. You know what I mean? That would be information that would be nice to know. But hey, with that being said, though, stay tuned because I'm going to make another video because there was an argument that they then both did have. But I want to make that in a different video. Okay, so stay tuned for that one, okay, guys. But with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Peace.